Okay. And then when I'm gonna hit the pause recording here. Resume.
Hello. Um, so this is the Office of, the first auditor meeting to discuss this year's audit for fiscal year 25. So we all have copies of the agenda. We're going to switch out the order of the agenda, and since Edie has been kind enough to let us in and get us going, we're going to open the floor to her for hearing of visitors, as there's a couple of items to cover, and then we'll proceed on with the rest of the agenda. So, Edie.
Thank you. So I wanted to talk about something I had put on here as discussion setting of select board salary, because I have learned new things in the last couple of days. I've been in contact with the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and my understanding was that the Board of Auditors set the select board salary. He clarified that there's actually two parts to the law, and the first part says that if we put officer salaries or stipends in the regular budget, that also counts as setting the select board salary, which of course the voters can change from the floor. And just so that you know, the board decided to decrease by $100 the amount that we are going to be recommending in the budget. And so now I know that I have to go back to the select board and say, we just put that in our budget with $100. The reason for part of that discussion is the second item that I just wanted to kind of confirm awareness of, which is the board has the intention to put an article on the warning to eliminate the office of elected auditor in the town of Halifax. That needs to be voted on by the community. But the phrasing for that would then say, following VLCT's recommendation, that would then require that we have a professional audit done going forward. There are a variety of reasons why we've come to that. The town did take a vote on that very same matter. I believe it was in 2019 or 2020.
Yeah.
It was voted to eliminate it. Then the next year, the voters brought it back and said, we want to reinstate it. So it was reinstated the next year. And then since that time, it has been difficult for us to find people who are willing and able to serve in the role of elected auditor, because there's a lot of conflicts with other roles in town, right? People can't be auditors because they already have some sort of a fiscal responsibility or potentially a conflict of interest. The perfect example of that was we had Stephanie Pike, who ran and had her name on the ballot for auditor. She won that seat. However, her husband, there were 14 write-ins, and he chose to take a select board seat, and therefore she couldn't also take the seat as auditor. So there's sort of that kind of challenge. And I will, when we get to the point we're discussing it in, with the community, I'll have a clearer, here are the timelines for things that happen. And so, again, I don't know where the voters are going to land on that. I know that Patty did reach out and suggest if anybody was interested in running for auditor, that there is still time to get your name on the ballot. And that is perfectly fine. We can have the conversation. We can deal with that, that tension of, people wishing for different capacities, different levels of audit. And I hope we will do that robustly as a town. So I just don't want to say thank you to the three of you. If the vote does eliminate the office of auditors, it sounds like those positions would be eliminated either 45 days after the vote was taken, or at a point where we sign a contract for that professional auditor to do the work, whichever comes first.
Okay.
So that's the status there. Does anybody have questions for me?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Erin. And I'm gonna lock the door, so if somebody does want to attend your public meeting, you would need to just get up and let them in, but that
Okay.
means that I don't have to come back and make sure it's locked when you're done.
Okay,
I talked to Erin about, just ending the meeting. You can stop the recording and
Right.
then end the meeting, how to shut the equipment down. Text me if you have any questions or issues.
sure, thank you.
I'm here to be, an administrative support for
Yes,
you as
thank
much
you
as
for
I
your
can.
help.
And you might see me at the next meeting as well, which I need to make sure is in my personal calendar. But the 30th, the next formal meeting, which is the annual meeting for you guys. And your role is one that allows you to do work that is sort of standard work without warning every minute that you're in here
Yeah.
working on your projects.
Okay, so in other words, more than one of us can be here working without warning a meeting?
That is correct. There does have to be that annual meeting. We do have to get that warned
Mhm.
10 days in advance, which is different.
Mhm.
Make sure that if you have time to look at your agenda for that and
Yeah.
make any changes,
Sure.
get that back to us, and Emily and I will help get it posted.
Hmm.
But yes, this office and the listers, where there is stuff that is considered, and I don't have the legal phrasing within my hand, but stuff that's considered, routine matters that you would need to do on a regular basis,
Yeah.
you are allowed to do without the recording. It's just that at the end of the day, you need to vote to accept your report, and you'll need to elect a chair and all of that. And you do have to do minutes with these meetings that are formally
Right.
warned.
Right,
So, yeah. Cool.
great,
And so
thank
if
you.
I guess I would say if you, after the annual one that we warn 10 days in advance, if there's still something that needs to be done, which I would hope that there wouldn't be,
Right,
but we would be able to warn that as a special meeting if we had
if
to. I
needed,
think.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
trying
discuss
to
some
get-
dates and, yeah,
Yeah.
in
All right.
case. Great, thanks, Edie, have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.
Do we have a time on the 30th?
Let me grab the calendar up here. So what I was thinking is, what we would do. So yeah, let's just talk about, timing. So today we're meeting, the 17th. And then we have on the calendar the 30th, which is a Friday from 6 to 8 PM. That would be ideally, where we would agree on our, we would wrap up anything and agree on, the audit and be able to produce the report. We can also, and I know we had thrown this date out there before, Wednesday, February 4th, and one of you were out of town, I think, that day. So if we need to go out a little bit further, say we need that weekend to wrap up some audit work or the rest of the week, we could do that remotely, as well. So that would just be wrapping up and agreeing on, the audit, and producing the report to say that we're agreed. So I think we should warn for both the 30th and the 4th, and I'll coordinate that with Emily. The 4th was, a Wednesday from 6 to 8 PM, and then the 30th, of January is a Friday from 6 to 8 PM. So let's target to try to wrap up by the 30th, but knowing we have the 4th, I'll coordinate with Emily to warn, make sure both are warned so that we don't have any issues with that. So yeah, any thoughts on meeting times or
It works for me.
works for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
if I'll basically be missing dinner on the 4th.
Oh, gotcha.
If we do that at 6 to 8, I'll be in Florida.
Oh, okay, that's
with
nice.
In-laws, but if that's the best possible time, I will. Be.
Yeah, let me.
Yes. Basically, nothing will stop me from making the meeting.
No, I appreciate that, but let me see if, cause, so when do you leave for Florida?
On the 3rd.
The 3rd. So there's no sense in, you won't be able to do any audit work on the 3rd, cause you won't be here. So let me see, February. So I could potentially, let's see, they're open on Groundhog Day is the 2nd. We could plan for Monday the 2nd instead. Does that day work?
I think so.
Okay, and we could do the same time.
Okay.
So let's switch 2/4 to 2/2, so that would give us the weekend if needed. And 68. Okay, so I'll have them change that. I'll move that so it's out of the way. Town auditors. Six to eight. Okay, on the 2nd. I don't know if they have any whiteout. For now, I'll just cross it out and see if they wanna fix that. So, excuse me. So we'll go back to the agenda for today. Unfortunately, I do have a hard stop at 11:30. Something came up for my schedule today, but I think we can accomplish what we need to accomplish today in the time frame that we have. Let's see, so, introductions. I think we all have met officially.
Yes.
No. Um, are you both from Halifax originally, or did you move here, or? Yeah.
Moved.
Moved, yeah, same here. Have you done any audit work before?
I worked in a bank and did audit work.
Okay, yeah, so you're a little bit familiar with the process, yeah. And
I haven't
yeah.
done audit work before.
Okay, this is pretty basic audit work, and they give you a good guideline if you read some of the documents as to what to do.
Mhm.
So it shouldn't, it's nothing, no deep dive, necessarily into accounting or finance. So it's really understanding the processes that are handled, by the town, and making sure that we're checking that everything ties out, or not everything, but some samples of what we're doing. So, I'll get into that part in a minute. We, have you read up on what our roles are? Just kind of, I like to start with that as like a refresher as to what our roles and responsibilities are as auditors. Somewhere
I'll look
here.
over the presentation you sent. Have in front of me the statutory requirement.
Okay, good. I had another document here somewhere that sort of, yeah, here it is. Sort of highlights what our role is. So this is the handbook for locally elected auditors. I have the older version apparently this is from last year, and it looks like they updated it. So there was a few changes, and I briefly looked at it this morning, and I like the updated one. It's a little bit more condensed, but from a legal perspective, there's not any statutes that have changed. So as our role as auditors, we are really gathering all the information that's needed to audit and test the processes that produce that come up with the financial statements. So the process is, understanding, the first thing is understanding the accounting methods. So one of the first things you're probably going to want to do is set with Patty, if you haven't already, to understand what you both know Patty Dow, right? Okay. To understand what her roles and responsibilities are, what her processes are. And that will help you to understand and request information to do the audit. So the last 2 years, the other two auditors have been different. So for 3 years, I've been the auditor for the past 3 years, but we've had different people. The other two people have been different each year. So each person has sat with her in the past and got a good understanding of what she does and where to get information from. And that's been extremely helpful. So I would recommend setting with her and getting an understanding of her accounting procedures and controls. She'll also show you where, and usually she has it out for us, and I don't say, she will put a box. Us use, set with her, she'll show. Just, I can think of as here. Um, you know, says, You, cross reference. The same. Action.